Khabib is the best in the world. He's 28-0. There's no other challenge I want right now. I want to fight him.
The most violent man in the most violent sport.
Oh! How is he taking these shots?
Yo, you about to witness greatness in the making.
Khabib Nurmagomedov mauls people.
Cause I've seen it all, been through it all. It's all about the way you stand up, not how you fall.
There's the tap! Khabib Nurmagomedov has finished Conor McGregor tonight!
And down goes Vic!
Holy smoke, what a knockout!
I'm ready for war, I said I'm ready for more. You can't stop me, you can't stop me. I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna make it. If you wanna go to war, then come and bring it on. I'ma give it my all, you know I give it all. You can't stop me.
All right, Brother Joe, it is the main event of UFC 254, Khabib Nurmagomedov and Justin Gaethje. You see the tail of the tape, so to speak, on your screen there. Khabib, a big favorite in this at minus 360, plus 280 on the comeback with Gaethje as the underdog. So to dive further into this matchup and what should be a dynamic bout, let's welcome in our MMA expert here at ESPN, Ariel Helwani. Ariel, I want to start on the Khabib side in that corner. We haven't seen him fight in more than a year, and the year's been tough for him. He lost his father during the pandemic, so I wonder, and he was very close with his father, by the way, I wonder if you think this is something that he's going to use as motivation to get back on the octagon and be the best version of himself, or if it's something that may benefit Gaethje as he's lost his edge.
Well, ultimately, we'll find out the real answer to that question, guys, on Saturday. And honestly, I feel a little awkward using this as a storyline going into the fight because, you know, Abdulmanap, Khabib's father, wasn't just his father. He was also his head coach, his mentor, his best friend. They were as close as possible. And my heart breaks for Khabib because I know how much he loved his father, and this is the first time that he'll be fighting without him. He has said that, you know, they had a pact that he would make it to 30-0 and then he would retire. So I feel like he is doing this for his dad. Once he decided to return and continue his career and honor his father, I feel like Khabib was telling us we're about to see the best ever Khabib inside the octagon. And that's a crazy thought when you consider the fact he's undefeated. He's only lost one round officially in his UFC career. He is the most dominant fighter in UFC history. And if we're going to see a better version of that, I'm scared to think what that person looks like inside the cage. So I don't think this will be a weakness. I don't think it will be used as a crutch or an excuse or anything like that. I actually think we'll see a more motivated and a better Khabib as a result of everything he's been through this past year.
Gaethje surprised Tony Ferguson in his last fight by adopting a far more disciplined fight strategy. Can he do something similar to Khabib, possibly catch him off guard?
That's the plan. That should be the plan. You know, once Justin Gaethje lost 2 in a row in the UFC, he came back a completely different fighter. And it wasn't just in that Tony Ferguson fight. In fact, his last 4 fights have proved to be a completely different Justin Gaethje in the cage as opposed to the ones that we saw earlier on in his career. Early in his career, he was sort of a Tasmanian devil. He was okay with taking 2 shots and handing out 3. He was okay with damage. He liked to get into brawls and firefights, as they're known, fight of the years, fight of the night candidates and all that stuff. But ever since he lost 2 in a row, he came back a much more disciplined fighter, a much more calm fighter, a collected fighter, a patient fighter, and now he's like a sniper out there with a great game plan. He's one of the best coaches in the sport by his side, Trevor Whitman, and if he could keep this fight in the center of the octagon and not go up against the cage, that's where Khabib wants him, up against the cage where he can employ his wrestling and make this a really dirty fight. If he can keep it in the center of the octagon, if he can use his leg kicks the same way he used them against Tony Ferguson, if he can stuff a couple takedowns, maybe get down but get right back up, and if he can use his power that he has in these hands, much more of a powerful striker than Khabib is, yes, he does have a shot. This is the toughest fight of Khabib's UFC career. He is a live dog, as you people would say. He is a guy that you should look at if you're looking to make a bet on this fight.
Yeah, Ariel, we know that Khabib wants to submit. That's the way that he operates. Gaethje, however, has never been submitted in his UFC career. The betting markets, though, have the shortest odds, the most likely outcome as a Khabib victory by submission. In your estimation, if Nurmagomedov wins this fight, will it be because of a submission, a knockout, or a decision?
It won't be via knockout. Justin Gaethje has a really strong chin, and I don't think that Khabib has that kind of power. It will either be decision or submission. I would lean towards decision. I think it will be very hard for Khabib. As good as he is, I call him the most dominant fighter in UFC history. I think it will be very hard for him to submit Justin Gaethje because he's just so tough and just so relentless, and the guy just doesn't know how to give up. As for Gaethje, if you're wondering, I would say his best chance of winning is via knockout. His best chance is to catch Khabib, especially early on, shock him in the center of the cage with a big punch or two.
All right, that's great stuff from our ESPN MMA insider, Ariel Helwani, joining us here on Bet. Ariel, appreciate the time.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.